In this episode, we are bringing on one of my buddies who opened not only Wilfred's Tiki Lounge, but also Pagan Idol and Zombie Village in San Francisco. He is a bartender, a bar consultant, and an all-around fan of tiki stuff. Aloha, welcome back to Spike's Breezeway Cocktail Hour. I would love to welcome onto the show my buddy Doc Parks. What's up, Doc?
What's up? Thanks for having me.
What exactly are you a doctor of?
I have a doctorate in good times.
Ooh.
I have a very deep record collection.
Mm-hmm.
I consider that to be a world of knowledge that I'm an expert in. And all things self-medicating, both Western and Eastern world.
Okay. I think it's super fascinating that you have been able to consult and open 3 tiki bars in Northern California, in the span of, seems like a couple of years?
Yeah, I joined the Future Bars team in San Francisco in 2015.
Okay.
When my first interview happened, I thought I was just signing up to work at one of their busiest speakeasy style jazz lounges for a couple nights a week, trying to make that money. And upon meeting the CEO, he let me know that he was planning to open a tiki bar within the next year.
Okay.
And saw that Trader Vic's was on my resume.
Trader Vic's was on your resume?
Yes. I did bartend at Trader Vic's Emeryville for just about a year.
Wow.
And he was very interested in that.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that. On the show, we have featured a zillion Trader Vic's cocktails.
Yeah.
It's been a big part of the Breezeway Cocktail Hour, and I just love everything that Vic did with his cocktails. Very citrus forward usually, right?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have a favorite Trader Vic's cocktail that is not the Mai Tai?
You know, when I go to Trader Vic's, I like to get the TV grog or the Trader Vic's grog.
Oh, yeah.
That is a
lemon juice, right?
go-to for me, yeah.
Okay.
Lemon juice, passion fruit, a little dash of bitters. That's a hitter for me. But yeah, there's a long list of Trader Vic's drinks, as you know.
I do know. And sadly, I shattered my 10-pin Pilsner glass. Do you think you can find me another one of those?
I think I could find you a black-footed Pilsner glass, if that would suffice. But I saw your post about that, and I saw that you had the clear one, which I have not ever found one in the real world.
Yes, and then ever since I made it popular on the show, I think now they're totally extinct.
Yeah, you're driving extinction for sure.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. So you were interviewing, and they saw Trader Vic's on your resume. If you've never been to the Trader Vic's Emeryville, it is just gorgeous.
Yeah, world class. No one has a better view than the bartender. The bar is situated facing out of these panoramic windows of the Emeryville Marina.
It's also facing a walrus skull.
Yes, and a giant tortoise and many other fantastic decor items. It was an incredible experience to be able to work for Trader Vic's, learn their way, and that was my introduction to the Bay Area and, tiki community at large as well.
Okay. And then so once you had that experience, then you were able to utilize that to work into other positions, I guess?
Once you memorize hundreds of cocktails and can execute them at a feverish clip, you can pretty much do anything I learned. So I was able to go get involved in the Bay Area and San Francisco cocktail scene.
Okay.
Fine dining scene as well. Helped open up a couple of great restaurants. Worked at some great cocktail bars. And then, as I mentioned, in 2015, got hired on to captain what became Pagan Idol for the Future Bars.
And if you haven't been to Pagan Idol is another gorgeous tiki bar.
Yes, incredible cavernous space, multiple layers and levels, starting in the captain's quarters and onto the island side, which I know you did a recap on your visit there.
We did, yeah. The interesting thing to me about Pagan Idol is that later it was found out that was also the previous location of Tiki Bob's.
Tiki Bob's mainland rendezvous was in the same space that Pagan Idol is now. Very happy surprise, I would say.
What are the odds?
Yeah, it was incredible. Again, the Bay Area Tiki Johanna, they brought me this magazine from the 1960s that has pictures confirming that Tiki Bob's mainland rendezvous was in fact at 375 Bush Street in the financial district of San Francisco, which is where Pagan Idol is.
And I think it was also because they were able to, there was a murder that happened there, right?
Yeah, a lot of crazy history.
And I think they were able to line up a drain spout or something that lives on the outside of the building. You know, yes, the drain spout?
I know the drain spout. Yeah, it's a fire hose water where they can access water for any fire emergencies.
Okay, so you opened Pagan Idol, Zombie Village after that?
Yeah, a couple years into Pagan Idol, ownership came and said they wanted to turn one of their existing bars into a tiki bar, which initially I was kind of surprised by, but upon walking into that same bar, which I was a huge fan of drinking at prior, and for the first time thinking of, okay, can this be a tiki bar? Would this work? I walked through those doors and started looking around, and anyone who's been there knows that it has very high ceilings, incredible horseshoe-shaped bar, and started looking around and just saw what you now know as Zombie Village.
When I was there last, I had an absolute blast. I think it's just like the music was fun, the cocktails were incredible. There are a lot of like nooks and crannies to hang out in.
Yep.
We didn't go upstairs though.
Voodoo Lounge is upstairs.
All the skulls and stuff. Never saw it. No. So I got to make a trip back there.
Yeah, a bunch of premium spirits up there. You got to
Okay.
sweet talk your way because it's not always open. The baller move is just to like book your birthday party up there or something. You know, you'll get a private bartender, best view of the entire space.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the Voodoo Lounge is happening.
And then Wilfred's more recently.
Yeah.
That's like Napa, right?
Napa Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got signed on initially to consult for the cocktails when they obtained their liquor license. Very quickly, that got turned into a GM position. So I was able to kind of help them get off the ground and get open. I had the pleasure of working with Michael Cobb. I came on a little late to that project.
Okay.
So I didn't have as much to do with, say, designing the space and decor, but definitely helped them get the cocktail program off the ground and get their staff buttoned up and hired.
Michael Cobb also owns the High Roller Tiki Lounge
Correct.
in
Yeah,
Solvang, where the Hula Girls will be performing on New Year's Eve.
Here.
Yes, here. I have never been there before, so I'm really excited to go to a tiki bar in a windmill land.
An enchanting neighborhood, to say the least. Really fun bar he's got going on, and Michael Cobb is another one of those kind of pillars of our tiki ohana.
He's been around for a long time. He also does Betty Page rum, and yeah, good dude. So now what's your plan? Now you're touring California. Well, you're touring the whole damn country, right?
I spent this entire year, 2023, touring and taking time to decide what is next. Decide once and for all if I really want to open a bar of my own, which my wife and I, after much discussion, decided that we do. So we are excited to bring a new and exciting tiki wonderland to the people. Certainly within, I would say, California state borders.
Okay, but you have a track record of success.
Yes, we're confident. We're confident that it'll be great.
Are you looking for investors right now?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be. We haven't found the location, so we're not sure what the price tag will be, but there will certainly be opportunities for investment, I would imagine.
Do you have an idea of aesthetics?
Anything from a nice little compact bar size, maybe similar to, say, the Tiki Tea. The way my brain works, big picture is always good too, and some of these larger scale spaces are certainly my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on what we find at the right time, but we do plan on moving forward with a project early next year.
Oh, wow, that's soon.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, what would it look like inside? In like your best case scenario?
It's all about escapism, as you know. And I would say it would be a fully immersive experience. Hopefully it wouldn't need to be, say, in the heart of the Tenderloin to execute that, which Zombie Village is. And as you know, you have to walk through some pretty crazy neighborhoods to get through those doors. But once you do...
Then it's escapism.
It's escapism. Yeah. And it's a fully consuming bit. And so that's, to me, what I want to go for. When you walk through the doors, I would imagine that it would just be a fury of whimsy and magic.
Yeah,
so,
leaving the outside world behind.
Yeah, and certainly the South Pacific decor is something that I've always been drawn to and appreciate. Yeah, I really want to create a space that is new, different, but just as exciting as anything you've ever been to.
It sounds perfect to me. But right now, you're on tour, on this world tour? Well, world tour? Stateside tour.
U.S. tour. Yeah,
U.S. tour.
Worked out to be a U.S. tour.
How do you go on tour as a bartender?
Well, I left Wilfred's in January, decided that I wanted to take some time to decide what was next.
Right.
I announced that I wanted to go on tour. In my mind, it was going to be 3-4 stops, West Coast, probably just drive the whole way, bring the family, whatever. Very quickly, people reached out, some of you folks perhaps, and said, hey, why don't you come here? Why don't you come here? Why don't you come here? And bars started reaching out, and it became a whole deal. So
where have you been?
I have been to Florida. I've been to Alabama. I've been to Texas. I've been to Portland. I've been to...
Florida?
Yeah, Florida.
You say Florida?
I said Florida. And that's where we ran into each other. That was super cool.
We had a lovely lunch together.
We had a lovely lunch and a very merry hookah at that.
We did have a very merry hookah, yeah.
So yeah, it's been incredible. I got to do a bunch of home bar stops.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Got to do the Tapa Room in Alabama, Headhunter in San Diego. And the home bars have been super fun too, because then you get a truly intimate experience. Most of my home bar stops have kind of capped at about 12 people.
Oh,
you know, like,
okay.
So you're talking about a much more intimate situation where I get to know who's here a lot more. It's not just me making drinks for you and sharing a good time, but I get to hear a little bit about, you know, other people's stories and what they're up to. So that's been really fun too.
So are you still accepting invitations to home bars and stuff? Like if somebody wanted to hire you for a private party or something? And...
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
I would say to anyone listening, take advantage of the fact that I don't have a bar at the moment, because I am available.
And then tomorrow you go to Strongwater.
Strongwater, yeah, big date. I've been looking forward to visiting Strongwater, and this will be my first time at the bar. So popping up, doing a really cool cocktail menu. One of the drinks we will feature here tonight.
Oh, good.
Or at least a variation of, anyway. I'm very excited to see this bar. It's been on my bar bucket list for some time. So
it is probably my favorite tiki bar in the direct vicinity.
Nice.
It's really excellent at everything that they do. It's exciting to have you step behind the stick there. I'm going to be joining you tomorrow.
Yes.
Maybe I'll bring a camera.
Please.
At the very least, I'm going to bring a thirst for drinks.
Yes. There will be a great menu to enjoy, so at least bring your thirst and sure, take some pictures too.
So what is the cocktail that we're going to feature tonight that we can get tomorrow at Strongwater?
Yes. We are going to feature the Once a Villager.
What is that title? Once a Villager?
Once a Villager, always a Villager. Right? This is a variation. It's been featured on menus both at Pagan Idol, Zombie Village, and actually Wilfred's Lounge as well. Some variation of this cocktail, and it's kind of a, you know, big, bold, tropical cocktail, if you will, that tends to check off all the boxes for guys like us who are seeking that full-on, I guess, tiki experience. You've got your tropical ingredients, you've got your spice, copious amounts of quality rum, you know, maybe a dash of absinthe just to tie it all together.
And for this cocktail, we will be using lime juice, pineapple juice, falernum, dock spice number 1. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. Passinola, absinthe, aged Barbados rum, overproof Jamaican rum, and Demerara rum. All right, so how do you want to start this thing?
So we're gonna make 2 because we're both having one.
Bet your ass we are.
To follow the drinks we've already had.
Correct.
Yes. Are we building together?
We can do it together.
Cool, so we're gonna start with lime juice.
Okay.
Yeah, juice right into this guy. Nothing's better than fresh, if you haven't already found out.
If you've never seen this show before, half the show is nothing but squeezing
Fresh
fruit.
is best.
Somebody was like, you should put the fruit juices in a bottle and just do it that way. But I really want to make sure that people know that they need to be squeezing their own fresh juices.
It's nice to show the people.
And it's easy. Like, it's, you know, there's nothing special about lime juice or orange juice or whatever. You can squeeze a fruit and get the juice. Do you like these measuring things?
I do like them for certain things. I usually use the pina jigger for my working situations.
It's probably quicker when you're working, huh?
Yeah, for sure. These are great, especially when you are juicing fresh to order, like we just did here. You know, juice into the bigger unit, and then you can measure precisely for your cocktails.
Okay.
So we'll do a 3/4 per.
Oh, I was just gonna say, dude, like, how are you gonna do each one? And that's how.
Right here.
Oh. Do you think that's more precise than in this one?
You know, more than anything, I just like to kind of double check and confirm. I've actually had jiggers, both this pina style as well as other styles, that were inaccurate. So it's nice to kind of check your jiggers, if you know what I mean. Next up, pineapple juice.
Okay.
And this is going to get a full 2 ounces.
Cool.
So we're going to get a full 2 ounces
per cocktail.
Per cocktail, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So one of the early iterations of this drink was known as the Sparkle and Froth.
Sparkle and Froth.
Yes. That name comes from the majesty of the ocean when the waves would crash on the beach at night under the full moon, and it would, you know, the foam would rise up and it would sparkle and froth. The pineapple juice will be doing something similar in this cocktail after we finish mixing it.
Oh, it'll sparkle and froth.
Yes. Next, we're going to use some Passinola.
Okay, so tell me about Passinola.
What we've found through the research done by Mr. Gregorio Pantoja and Martin Lindsay, authors of the book Fashionola.
And you know Gregorio from the Contigo Tiki Bar?
That's right. Is that Passinola is what actually kind of began the story and the lineage, if you will, for Fashionola. Passinola was the original. So again, a syrup that is heavily based on passion fruit, does have some other tropical ingredients as well, which shall not be named until it's available on the market.
So you're involved in a project with them, right?
I am, yeah. We're actually working on bringing Passinola to market. We're hoping to bring a commercial product that will be readily available, however, made with fresh ingredients, real sugar, shelf stable, of course, but something that will kind of satisfy that craft palate that so many of us have developed over the years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very excited about that. We're in the finishing stages of formulation right now and hope to have a co-packer signed up and get product out early next year.
Early next year. Very exciting. So how much of this per drink?
So this is going to be a ½ ounce of Passinola. If you don't have your own Passinola or Fashionola at home, you could certainly use passion fruit syrup. But I would suggest for any of you home bartenders out there that aren't making your own Fashionola or Passinola at home, give it a try.
Can I smell that?
Just experiment. Yeah. Give it a sniff.
Definitely vibes of passion fruit.
Yeah.
But like something different.
You can tell there's something else in there. Please, yeah. Be my guest.
Oh my God, that is incredible.
Very bright.
Very bright, but there's also like a texture in there that is kind of indescribable. It's almost like some kind of spice or something.
You know, the way that the
like
fruit works together. No, it does.
Yeah.
It creates this feeling on the palate that there is some sort of a spice involved.
Yeah. Dude,
But
that is incredible.
But we're getting to the spice. The spice is coming up.
Let's bring on the spice.
And the Passinola has its own magic.
Dude, that is so good.
Yeah. I'm glad you like it. Next up is going to be Doc Spice Syrup, number 1.
What the hell is Doc Spice Syrup number 1?
So essentially, this is something I came up with to satisfy the need for allspice dram. Which is, of course, called for in many classics that we know and love. For things like a grog or a 3 dots and a dash, I wanted to have something that was a little bit bolder. And so this is kind of a kitchen sink allspice dram, but in a syrup form.
Okay.
Demerara sugar as the base, and then if you can imagine, just about any baking spice under the sun is probably in here. Very, very heavy on the cardamom, allspice, and nutmeg, as well as cinnamon, but there's a laundry list of things that go into this. If you're looking for a substitute for this at home, however, you could actually 50-50 some allspice dram with a 2-to-1 Demerara syrup and use that instead.
Okay.
And this is just going to get a little 1/4 ounce, little baby quarter.
The most exciting thing about having Doc Parks here behind the bar at the Breezeway, I mean, other than, hanging out and having a good time, is having one of the best tiki cocksmiths on board, and I get to drink the cocktail.
Oh, you're too kind. Just happy to be here.
I'm just happy to have this cocktail when it's done.
All right, so just to round out the spice a little bit more, we are going to use a touch of falernum.
Okay.
So just a little barspoon of falernum for each cocktail.
And you don't mind pouring it over the thing? Because if you get
a little more won't kill us. I do appreciate the technical wherewithal, though.
Wherewithal.
And if I was training a bartender, I would teach them not to go over. So this is not a training video.
No. Yeah. You are a professional.
Yeah, we are now a couple cocktails deep at the Breezeway, which is something I've been looking forward to for a long time. So happy to be here.
Very good.
Besides rum, we just need a little bit of absinthe. We're going to hit each one with a generous dash of absinthe.
Dude, that was so much absinthe.
It's a decent amount. So I love these dasher tops.
Why does your absinthe look like Windex? Oh, it's the color.
Oh,
of the
I just
bottom.
have a green tape on the bottom.
Okay.
Never mind my green tape. But I am using a Swedish absinthe. This is Kubler, I believe. I think Kubler is how it's pronounced. But
okay.
Don't quote me on that. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Careful of the balls.
Oh yeah, we will not spill our pineapple balls.
Pineapple balls. I want to put them over here.
And now the most important part. We need a lot of delicious rum. We're gonna start with a little ½ ounce of some Barbados rum.
Okay.
This is the real McCoy 5, so reasonably well aged from Barbados, coming out of the Foursquare Distillery.
is smelling like bourbon a bit. The real McCoy?
Yeah, absolutely. I find the rums that come out of Barbados, specifically the Foursquare distillery, to be very dry on the palate. And so I feel like the way that they interact with the used bourbon barrels, definitely like it has that bourbon vibe heavy.
Super good.
Yeah, super good. I like to use it as a kind of a canvas rum. It's stout,
Yeah,
but it creates a nice canvas for other flavors to lay on.
I see.
And speaking of other flavors,
I love Worthy Park 109.
I was happy to see that you had this. We pillaged Spike's cabinet to put this cocktail together, and I was pleased to see the Worthy Park 109 on the shelf.
My favorite Mai Tai is Worthy Park 109 and Appleton 21.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's not a cheap one.
Yeah. Drinks more like a jet pilot.
Yes.
Down with it, though.
Very tasty.
So we're going to go 1 ounce
Okay.
of the Worthy Park. All right. And then to finish, we will do another ounce of Hamilton 86. Nice, bold rum from Guyana.
You got an opinion on corks?
You know, I'm a big fan of corks. So much so that I think we should do that whole thing again.
What?
This.
There's something very satisfying about that sound. Oh my God.
Ooh.
It's party time in the Breezeway.
Yes.
My favorite thing about corks is when you close it back up, because you can give it that smack.
It's satisfying. That's the whole cocktail.
Okay.
And I will say, I think we should do a little more.
Okay. What does that mean?
I think we should just put a little bar spoon of this in there.
Oh, barspoon.
Just a little bar spoon.
Okay.
One of the little gifts I brought for Spike tonight was a little flask-sized bottle of Rum Fire, which you said you had never had before?
Never had it. I smelled it. It's very funky. I am excited about a travel bottle that I can just
Yes.
keep on me.
Shout out to Nick from Rum Fire for laying a bunch of these on me to share with great folks around the country. So this one is for you.
Thank you.
And we're going to put just a little bar spoon here. For those of you not familiar with Rum Fire, this is a extremely high ester rum from Jamaica.
And what does high ester mean?
It might be the highest ester rum available on the market. But this is coming out of Hampden Estate, which is a legendary estate distillery on the island of Jamaica. When you're talking about overproof rum from Jamaica, unaged overproof rum, this is where my mind goes. There's also others on the market. Some of you might be familiar with Ray and Nephew, or I know Worthy Park also has a great overproof as well.
High ester mostly means funky, right?
Funky, yeah. Esters are kind of these flavor compounds that you find in spirits, but especially in Jamaican rum. A lot of it is coming from long fermentation and the hot distillation. Very excited for how these cocktails are going to taste, shall we?
I'm very excited. Yeah. How much ice would you like?
So just a nice little scoop like that will get us started, and then we'll pre-ice our glasses to get us where we want to be.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so because of the pineapple juice in this one and the complexity of all these ingredients, we're going to use the Hamilton Beach blender and really give this a good whip and get some froth going.
Okay. About how long?
I would say we're probably going to go 15 seconds.
Ooh, long one.
On the higher setting for this vintage one. For the commercial Hamilton Beach blenders, I would normally go with like the medium setting. I don't know if you're familiar with those, but the high setting is like crazy.
Warp speed.
Yeah, a little too much.
Okay.
So yeah, we're going to go about 15 seconds with this guy. How am I doing? Pretty good?
Wow, that seems so long.
Probably about 15 seconds.
Okay.
But as you can see, we got plenty of froth in there.
Oh, yeah?
Give that a whiff.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
That smells incredible. That seems so long to me.
It's kind of long.
I never hear that thing run for that long.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, it's very frothy.
We want that froth.
It's like an orange Julius.
Yes. So we will now want to ice up these glasses.
Like another scoop?
Yeah.
Okay.
So big oversized goblet.
What's the idea behind
snifter.
Icing like that?
We couldn't fit all of that ice into this tin and not overflow here.
Oh, okay.
So that's part of it. Mixing here, we want that froth. We want to chill it down. We want to dilute it, but we don't want all of that ice to be diluted. Right. So now we have the temperature we want. We have the mix we want.
Can we do it at the same time?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Oh, man. Look at that right there. That's incredible.
That's what we want.
Do you want to add more ice to fill, or are we going to add some garnish? And
We're going to add some garnish, so I think we're good.
Okay,
So,
what do you have in mind for garnish?
So for garnish tonight, let's use these fancy hanging lanterns from our friends at Contigo Tiki Bar.
Yeah. If you do want one of these things, you can go to, I think, their Etsy page. And the Contigo Tiki Bar offers this vintage garnish that has been
incredible.
Extinct forever. Yeah, it's super rad.
They're so cool. So we are going to skewer a couple of pineapple balls.
Pineapple balls?
Yes. Turns out you can use a melon baller to ball pineapples as well as melons.
One wouldn't think that that's possible.
You never know.
So what, 3 balls?
Yeah. Unless you got an appetite for more. It's choose your own adventure time.
I think 3 balls is probably fine.
Totally. And then I'm going to reach over and grab one of these guys because we can just do this, actually.
Wait, what?
Let's just pierce it.
That's a thing?
Yeah, why not? So we're piercing orchids with our skewer here.
What, right down through
Just right down through the middle. I like to think of it like the orchid's actually eating these pineapple balls.
Oh, like,
see what I'm saying?
What's that movie? Little Shop of Horrors?
Little Shop of Horrors, exactly. And so the other cool thing about doing this is that the orchid will kind of act as a little buoy, a little floater.
This is the raddest garnish I think I've ever seen in a cocktail.
It's amazing. Last but not least, we need a little aromatics for this. With all of these flavors in this cocktail. All right, so some fresh grated nutmeg on here is going to give us the aromatics we want.
Wow.
As well as just look so beautiful.
This is the reason why he's going to be at Strongwater. This is the most incredible presentation. It smells absolutely amazing. It's great.
And this is what used to be known as a sparkle and froth. It's also known as a batten down the hatches, but from this day forward, we will call it a once a villager.
Folks, if you enjoyed this, find it helpful or informative, join the Patreon to help support this show. I will send you this enamel pin. You'll get opportunities to buy merch before it goes on sale to anybody else. You'll keep this thing going. So, from Doc Parks, this is Once a Villager. Let's try this.
Let's do it.
Dude, cheers.
Cheers.
I'm so excited about this. There are so many flavors that hit you. First, you get the nutmeg in your nose and the pineapple balls. And
then the layers of rum and spice.
Yeah, the passion fruit flavors from the Passinola.
Yes.
Passinola or Fascinola?
There's rumors that they could be the same thing. What if they were?
Passinola and Fascinola?
For all intents and purposes.
Oh.
Passinola. Coming soon.
Is that how you say that? For all intents and purposes?
Oh God, I hope so.
Dude, this is so good.
I love this drink. You can't have too many of these. This is what will always be listed as like a two drink max per person.
Yeah.
I've seen people try to like prove their swagger and stamina, but it just doesn't go well.
The great thing about tiki cocktails, but also the problem with tiki cocktails, is that this tastes so good. But you can literally probably have one of these and maybe a couple other cocktails throughout the night, and then you got to go home. Or you're going to get arrested.
You know, you got to pace yourself. You know, it's important to have a nice little glass of water here and there.
Yeah.
It goes down so easy.
The problem with San Francisco is that there are so many great tiki bars and cocktail bars, all just in the same area, all within an Uber ride or a trolley ride, if you like the trolley.
Even a walk. Yeah.
Wouldn't suggest walking through San Francisco these days.
But, I mean, really, you could get from Pagan to Zombie to Smuggler's Cove, and there's not more than a mile in between each of those places.
Yeah.
And that's kind of fun.
It's fun.
And a good way to work off your buzz a little bit, too.
True.
In between spots. But if you are concerned for your safety, try the Ubers. Yeah, try the Ubers.
Dude, it's so good. There are so many fruit flavors that are kind of like dancing around. There's like a hint of the heat from the rum. Like, way on the back end.
Yeah, the rum finds a nice way to disguise, even though there's like, you know, Overproof. And instead of the Worthy Park 109, we could have been using OFTD or even Lemon Heart 151. And that would certainly make it even more lethal. But the flavors in any of those rums find themselves well disguised, I would say.
Okay.
In this cocktail.
If people do want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You can find me on Instagram. That's Doc, DOC_Parks, PARKS. I also have my docparksdesigns.com, which is my website where you can find various items available as well as information on what I'm up to. So if you want to keep up, check me out there.
You do have some merch for sale, right?
I do have some merch for sale. Yeah, we just launched some tour shirts, which has all the bars that I've been to this year with the dates and everything. So
Like you're an Iron Maiden.
kind of, yeah. We did a rock tee, if you will. Again, the tour kind of grew into way more than we initially intended, but so grateful and happy to have been able to go see so many great folks around, visit so many great bars, both commercial bars and home bars. You know, reconnect with humanity because we're human after all. There are still mugs available if you are interested in the peacock mug from Ecom Bookham.
I don't know what you're talking about. What mug?
Oh my gosh.
What?
You don't have the mug?
No.
Oh, well, hold on.
What mug? You didn't tell me about any mug. Dude, this is so good.
So yes, we are in our second glaze of this beautiful peacock chair mug.
Wow, dude.
This is a gift for you.
No way.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming onto the show and sharing this incredible cocktail with us. Look at how complex this mug is. There's a little tiki dude on the side, and then, of course, like the traditional peacock chair.
Yeah, shout out to John Mulder and Ecom Bookham. His team did a great job. We collaborated on this to kind of commemorate my experience in the bar industry so far. The peacock chair, of course, is just iconic in this tiki realm and any realm for that matter. You got a little Bumatai tiki here. My wife is Filipina, and so that's a little shout out to her. We actually have a little version of this guy at our home.
Rad.
Across the back, you'll see the little Trader Vic's Aloha mug, meant to represent my time bartending at Trader Vic's. You've got a little puffer fish here, meant to represent Pagan Idol, for anyone who is lucky enough to meet Puff Daddy from the fish tank in the captain's quarters down there in Pagan Idol.
Puff Daddy?
That's from there. Yeah, Puff Daddy. Did you see the
still in
little
there?
puffer fish?
Yeah.
He's not still in there anymore. Rest in peace, Puff Daddy.
Is he a lamp
We love
now?
you. I don't believe he is a lamp.
It's good.
The fish tank attendant took care of the remains, and we know he's in a better place. Got the little Zombie Village logo back there too, little palm tree with coconut skulls. Yeah, he did a killer job. Escaped paradise. So yeah, this is for you to enjoy.
Yeah,
and then of course
you.
there's a little indentation if you ever need to light a cocktail on fire to really just elevate the game a little bit.
Wow, that is amazing. I had no idea that there were so many like kind of subliminal messages into the design of this mug, but super cool. I really want a peacock chair so I can do that move that Don Beach did in front of his bar.
Yes.
Where he's sitting out there with like a cigar. Does he have a cigar?
Well, I mean, he usually had a cigar.
Yeah. So what's next for your tour?
Final 2 stops. So I'm here to pop up at Strongwater tomorrow, and then my finale will be back where this all started for me at Trader Vic's Emeryville. Super excited about that.
Man, I wish I could go to that.
Yeah, it's been amazing. I am expecting my second son shortly after that.
Wow.
So that's part of why the tour has to end. And I will go back to dad mode. So yeah, very excited for the new arrival. And then coming soon to a town near you, if you live in California, a new bar by yours truly, as well as many other favorite tiki artists and friends that help build beautiful places. And speaking of the tour, none of it would have been possible without my sponsors, Tanduai, Plantation, and Rum Fire, for making it all possible. You guys are the best, and come see me soon.
So please be sure to give Doc Parks a follow on Instagram. Go check out his merch. If you've enjoyed this, please be sure to hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already, and if you don't hit that subscribe button,
Boo.
dude, this is so good.
I love this drink.
I love this drink.
I love this drink. Yeah, that's why I've had to, repeat some sort of a version of it, because it's a template in its own, and that's why I say it's like you can compare it to a zombie because it has the copious amounts and the similar rum blend.
It almost feels more like a rum barrel to me.
Little rum barrel-y.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely rum barrel-y.
The next mug that I'm doing is a rum barrel.
Nice.
It's already designed and everything.
Sweet.
But I have to come up with a rum barrel recipe that is not the rum barrel recipe. You know what I mean? It's like, so what are like the hallmark traits of a rum barrel, would you say?
This is an interesting topic, actually, because I tend to think outside the box a little bit with when it comes to cocktails.
Well, I think that everything has kind of been done at this point.
Yeah.
That's why the Breezeway cocktail has ginger syrup in it.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I have to throw some kind of curveball, otherwise it's just another drink.
Well, and you know, even when it comes down to like the classic set, and some people would totally disagree with me and feel that it's blasphemous, but you know, for my palate especially, but what I try and offer to my guests is a little bit of a less sweet structural build.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yep.
Love all the flavors, love the complexities, but when I'm approaching anything out of Sip and Safari or Grog Log, or even if I'm looking at basically any historic tiki drink, I feel like today's palate is looking for something slightly different. And I find a greater balance with a little bit less sweetener, and sometimes I have to adjust other ingredients as well.
Sure.
But I feel like that would be what I would first look to with the rum barrel, is like, how can I bring down the sugar a little bit?
Yeah. Maybe feature the rum a little bit more.
Feature the rum a little bit more.
Okay.
And then find a way for all those ingredients to still incorporate and represent themselves. If not, show new flavors, which is one of the things I feel like this cocktail does, is that you get flavors that you don't expect from all this.
I don't know what it was, but when I brought it up to my face, to my mouth, immediately I got San Francisco in my head. And I don't know if it's because the last time I had all that nutmeg on top.
That's what I meant to say too. I know that you had the sparkling froth at Zombie Village.
Oh, I did.
You did. And
you know what's so funny?
You called it out.
You were there.
No.
You weren't there.
I wasn't there.
I swear to God, I thought there was somebody. I thought there was you, but it wasn't you.
The new GM.
Yeah.
Has a beard. Wears the hat.
I was like,
and it turns out there's lots of guys that look like this.
I feel like I got recognized by that person, and I thought maybe it was you.
Well, he probably did recognize you. I would hope.
What do you think about the Tonga Room?
Tonga Room, I mean, epic, historic. I loved your comments on that episode because the decor and the history is just, you can't even like make that shit up. It's just like, it is what it is, and it's super great. I will say, I recently saw some reports from credible sources that they have improved their cocktails.
I've heard that
for
too.
real this time.
I've heard that as well.
Because they've made those claims before that were not true.
Before the pandemic, I think Martin came in and consulted.
There was a time, And
I remember the cocktails being really good for a moment. And then it backslid after COVID because they all just came back in and started making garbage cocktails. I think the cocktails are probably better now. Definitely worth a visit if you have not been to Tonga Room.
100%.
The drinks might be better now. I think they are.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people to visit regardless.
The music, though.
It's one of those things where you kind of just have to get into it. You know, like, what else can you say? Like, you show up, you want to see the place. Like, you know, maybe you have to, like, pretend to be interested in whatever Taylor Swift and Britney Spears that they're playing. Yeah. That place is incredible. It's a must-see. It is. And, you know, you almost want to even, like I said, deep dive. You know, like, go on the Friday night. You're going to see, like, everything from your wedding crowds, pre-wedding probably.
Tech bros,
tourists. And, you know, my move was always just, like, roll up to the bar, get a couple of bottled beers, tour around, you know, maybe hit the dance floor for a hot second, pretend like you're into it, and then bounce, because there's amazing tiki bars all over San Francisco.
Totally, but you need to see it because it was one of the greatest builds that Oceanic Arts ever did. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I was at one of the final closing days of Oceanic Arts recently.
Yes.
And somebody, a buddy of mine, Ken Stack, comes out of the back room with all these tubes. I was like, what's in the tubes? And he goes, look at this. And he pulls out blueprints for the Tonga Room.
Whoa.
That Oceanic Arts had with all of the carvings and everything in it.
Right. All those sketches, like, we're still just, like, hanging out at Oceanic Arts?
Somehow they missed the auction, all that stuff. They were just sitting back there.
So who ended up with them?
My buddy did.
Okay.
He says he has duplicates, so.
All right. Well, I hope to see him framed someday. That's
Me too.
That's pretty cool.
The other thing about San Francisco is visiting Tiki Bob. And also Honey Honey. It's great.
Right.
It's super good.
I loved your shout out of Honey Honey. I mean, Tiki Bob is still right there. What is it? It's Taylor and Polk.
And it's right down the street from Trader Vic Boulevard or whatever it is.
Yeah, the old San Francisco Trader Vic's was right around the corner. I mean, you know, Bob basically opened up kitty corner to his old employer, Trader Vic, and just gave him hell. And then opened up another spot which we talked about, right down the way. So that's a must-see. I know that folks rallied to get it restored and painted to the original color set. So it is looking good.
It looks good.
And it's only steps away from the Tonga Room, Pagan Idol, Zombie Village. And like I said, if you are feeling frisky, you could even hoof it down to Smuggler's Cove without too much, too much trouble.
Sheesh.
Right from that corner, right there.
That would be a dangerous town for me to live in. There's just too much drinking.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff.
All right.
So great place to visit.
But I wouldn't want to live there.